Welcome to Boxing Resume. This time around, we're gonna be reacting to Oscar De La Hoya flipping out on Canelo.
All right, so it's been a month since my last clapback. And that's because there's very little news to clap back to. Because the boxing media isn't reporting on anything these days. I wonder why. Has anybody else noticed this? Well, I actually did some digging and confirmed many members of the boxing media have been paid off by certain people and essentially muzzled.
It's important to note that he doesn't provide any evidence that people were paid off or anything like that. But what he's about to say next does bring up questions where you're like, maybe it's true.
I mean, these are the facts. For example, 6 of Eddie Reynoso's fighters have tested positive for PEDs.
Doesn't this sound familiar? Like, we all remember when Canelo got in trouble for supposedly eating tainted meat that had steroids in it.
The latest being Jaime Munguia 2 weeks ago. 6 fighters and nobody is questioning this?
Now, 6 fighters sound crazy.
This doesn't seem suspicious or out of the ordinary to you? We just accept the explanation that everyone is eating tainted meat?
I never heard of anyone in any sport ever accuse, eating steak or beef as to why they failed a drug test.
Come on. Jesus Christ. Doesn't this warrant an investigation of Eddie's camps?
I hope so.
Look, I've known Jaime for over 10 years, and he always tested clean up until his last camp with Eddie and his fight in Riyadh. How is it ethical that you have 6 fighters testing dirty from the same camp and we don't have questions or consequences?
I personally believe that if you're a professional boxer or just professional fighter, period, you should go to jail for attempted murder if you ever get caught fighting with steroids. Not so much if you get caught before the fight, but if you get caught with steroids after a fight, I personally think that boxing is a deadly sport as it is, and if you do anything to enhance your body, illegally, you should go to jail for attempted murder.
Where's the boxing media? I mean, they crucified Ryan Garcia every fucking day for a full year over a tiny bit of Austrian.
Ryan got more criticism for drinking wine than I ever heard Canelo get criticism for his steroid allegations.
So why are they so quiet now? I don't know, man, but when something stinks, it's usually shit.
I have to agree, especially since we're leading up to the Crawford versus Canelo fight, and you can't trust Canelo in his camp. Them dudes, something stinks, and it's probably shit.
I'm so disappointed, man, in the media, who I've treated like gold for 30 years. I didn't realize you guys could be bought that easily. Now, what the media is reporting, and it's circulating, is that Canelo Crawford is the biggest fight of the decade. I mean, to a purist and a fighter, it's laughable. Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight.
I disagree with Oscar. I actually want to see this fight.
Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov.
Madrimov is a hell of a fighter, so I'm not gonna, say anything bad about Crawford because that was a close fight. But, Madrimov has over 200 amateur fights. The guy was a world champion with just 11 fights as a professional, so he's no bum.
Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's gonna do to him?
I actually like Crawford's chances in this fight. If Crawford goes in and keeps a disciplined boxing match against Canelo and Canelo isn't roided up, I think that Crawford has a good shot at actually winning.
Run him out of the ring! You know what's laughable also? Dana White being named the promoter of this fight
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. That is some funny shit. Like, cause Dana White has been trying to get into boxing for a long time. And I think the Conor McGregor fight was supposed to be like the big opportunity for Dana to get into boxing. And it just didn't happen. There was no boxing events coming from Dana. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he is the promoter. Like, he just got the job. I don't know. This is weird shit.
Considering he's never been in the boxing space. Has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate shit. And is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter. He's the trust fund baby of boxing.
For those that don't know, Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya has been going back and forth for the longest. I'm pretty sure Dana's gonna make a clapback video.
That's it. The trust fund baby of boxing. And get this. The fight will take place during the day on September 13th in Las Vegas. During the day. So Canelo will fight during the day on Netflix just to accommodate UFC Noche later that evening on a different network. So does that mean this fight isn't important?
I'm not really sure what Oscar is referring to here. If anybody else knows, please comment below and let me know.
Do they not give a fuck about the fans or viewership? Why is it that Canelo has to fight during the day on Mexican Independence Weekend? And UFC with a roster of names I've never heard of is going on prime time. Cinco de Mayo. He's fighting in Riyadh and now he's fighting during the day on the biggest weekend in boxing. Yeah, Canelo will fight anywhere. Anytime he's told because he doesn't give a fuck. All he cares is about the money. Doesn't give a fuck about the fans. About tradition, the Mexican weekend tradition.
For those that don't know, Oscar used to be Canelo's promoter, and they had a very bad split, so they always going back and forth. But I feel like Oscar's making some valid points, and there is some funny stuff that should be explained, but we don't know. And I feel like Canelo is a dirty fighter.
Oh, and Dana, what, now you're turning your back on the UFC? I mean, we all know you've been trying to get into boxing for years on your own and you couldn't do it. Remember Zuffa?
Zuffa is the name of the company that used to own the UFC. They ended up selling it for a few $1 billion. But Zuffa Boxing was a thing. Dana White was wearing the Zuffa Boxing shirt during all the press conferences when Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor was promoting their fight.
Oh, but now that Daddy Turkey negotiated a big fight and he paid for it, you're seriously proud to be the trust fund kid presenting to be the face of this fight.
This is a sweet deal because Dana White is not a promoter in the UFC. He's the president of the UFC. So he doesn't have to cough up any dough. Promoters take a lot of risks. When you do boxing promotions like a Don King or Oscar De La Hoya, they have to put up, and sometimes they lose money in these events.
I mean, this whole thing's a shit show. Aren't you embarrassed? I mean, it would be just like me promoting John Jones versus somebody else in the UFC. You guys would fucking destroy me for me walking into another sport and acting like I know the fuck I'm doing.
Oscar De La Hoya did promote a fight between Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz in a boxing match. And let's just say that Dana White was not happy and he straight shitted on Oscar De La Hoya just to prove the point of what Oscar's saying. This did happen.
I mean, insiders are aware the UFC's hundreds of millions of dollars in debt and in a bad spot. But that's no reason to switch sports and leave these MMA fighters hanging, Dana.
Now, this part is a bit dramatic because the reason why the UFC has so much debt is because the new company, which I don't know the name of this new company, but they actually bought the UFC for like $4 billion and they haven't recouped all that money. So this is why they're in the negative. So it's kind of normal for a new owner of a big corporation like that to just be in debt. They haven't made a profit yet since they haven't recouped all the money that they spent to buy the company in the first place.
Don't abandon the fans. They've been begging you for months now to make a great fight in the UFC. Oh, and don't even think of bringing your pathetic pay scale to boxing, because these fighters won't go for it. The boxing media is trying so hard to hype up TKO, getting into the boxing space. But the truth is, they have no fucking fighters.
Pay scale is definitely an issue with MMA fighters, but it's really just top heavy because as a new boxer, you're not making much money. At least in MMA, in your first fight, you can make a couple of grand. You can make more money as a new MMA fighter versus a new boxer. But when you become famous, it becomes harder to make money at the top level, where boxers, you can make millions and millions of dollars even before you get on pay-per-view. If you have the fan base.
They have zero fighters. TKO? More like TK no. Oh, and guess what? Nobody will ever put a muzzle on me. I'll always give you the facts and keep it real. And I've never been happier to trade calls with Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman, because guess what? We ain't going anywhere.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Peace out, y'all.